just for the dance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everybody. We have a special meeting for several items. We're looking to adopt the revised alcohol beverage policy, which Mark has provided us. We're going to take action on two, if you want, on two liquor licenses. We need to authorize expenditures for the HRC, ratify approximately $24,000 in purchase of two boilers, which you have new information on. And then we're ordering 18 AEDs for various buildings. We need that final approval on that. So, okay, first up is the resolution to adopt revised alcohol. Public comment first.
Excuse me, you think we should call roll first?
Yeah, eventually. Okay. I'm way out of it.
You're out of order,
usually
sir.
don't do that on it, and I forget. Augie, will you call the roll?
Absolutely. Luddington.
Here.
Patrick.
Here.
Bruner.
Here.
Ellis.
Here.
Farnham. Lawton.
Here.
Voigt.
Here.
That's questionable.
Okay. Public comment. Are there any public comment? Okay. No, there.
Here.
If we have any questions of them while we're
okay.
discussing their deal.
Okay.
Okay, resolution to adopt revised liquor ordinance. Yeah, oh yes, you have to.
That's right.
Yep.
You don't give
So
a
go in there and talk to,
Joe Byron.
yeah, good luck.
I noticed he's even wearing an alcohol shirt.
Okay,
My
so
wife lays it out for him.
in the past, we have had two forms of liquor licenses, right?
Yes, sir.
We had the winery license and special events, is that correct?
Winery, special events, and we had a restaurant, a liquor restaurant license.
That's right, we had three.
Yes.
Now we're having retail packaged liquor and special, is it special use?
No, it's the lease.
Lease, okay, all right.
Yes.
Liquor lease are being added to that group.
Yep.
Mark has reviewed that, and so I assume you've had a chance to review this policy and discussion.
I think it does a good job of making more clear and dividing up different licenses in a way that people are actually, businesses are actually looking to use them.
Yeah, Mark asked if we wanted to go from the beginning and kind of clean everything up. Oh, that was kind of Augie's idea, and I think it worked out well. Any questions? Is there a motion to approve this it's a resolution. Bill moves. Russ seconds. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Luddington.
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes.
Lawton.
Yes.
Is that four?
That's 4.
4 votes? Okay. Then it does carry. I want to make sure we got 4 votes to make sure. Okay. Next is action on application from Cashman Hammond for a packaged liquor sales license down by Grandview. They are here in case you have any questions. So I think everybody understands that they want to have a liquor license or a liquor license to sell packaged liquor. Is that correct? Simply? Okay, at this point.
I kind of went through the town just to do that, check out where we'd be and so forth. Is that going to be the, it's like a closed store across from the fire station? Is that where you're going to have it?
Yes, the old Ryan store.
Is that a grocery store? One?
It used to be back in the day.
It's kind of like a general store.
Yeah, I've been there many times when it was.
Have you really? Yeah.
We've got a lot of
Yes.
people telling us pretty neat stories about it.
It's true.
Yeah, the stories and the education we've gotten is amazing. There was another store right by the fire station. So the two stores kind of, didn't compete, but they each had kind of their own people that would come. It was
Neat.
fun little.
Now, there's one complaint about parking. They may park in front of the fire station. Is there a way you keep them from parking in front of the fire station in case you have a fire?
We would have a
Pardon?
assigned parking
Okay,
around the store.
okay. I just wondered.
And I'm assuming that the fire station has signs all over their doors that say no parking in front of these doors.
They do in front of the big doors, but as far as their big parking lot, no, they do
Yeah,
not.
so.
There's not a lot of people in Grandview to really screw up the place, you know.
Now, remember, this is just their first step.
This
We
is the
have to
first
have
step.
the license from us in order to go to the state.
We would like to be able to sell ice, soda, liquor, and then if and when everything goes through, passes and does well, maybe do like bread, eggs, milk, something for the community in time.
To
You know,
grow.
work our way up.
Makes sense to me.
We get a lot of traffic that comes
I
through
do
to go to Mill Creek.
Oh, they do that.
So you're kind of hitting people right there at the stop sign, and it would be kind of
Be
fun.
very beneficial for our township along with Edgar County itself.
I
As far as,
appreciate the email you sent me.
not a problem at all. I
Appreciate it.
Other questions or comments? Motion to approve?
I'll make it.
Is there a second? Russ? Oh, Dan seconds, okay? We need any other further discussion? Need a roll call vote, please.
Luddington.
Yes.
Brunner.
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes.
And Lawton.
Yes.
Okay, it is approved. Okay, next, congratulations. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you all very much for listening and taking the time.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Action on application for Two Poor Girls LLC, that would be Caitlin Puzzi and Kristen Prince. They would be, they have a lease up there for the Bloomfield Barn, and they would operate out of there. So, they're not here, but I think everything's fairly straightforward with them. Like these folks, they're gonna have to go to the state for their regular license once they get one from us. So, comments, questions?
My only question is, the license is specific for a specific location as well?
Yes.
Okay, so if they decide there's another venue, they get a second lease
Well,
license?
Well, yeah, or they can get, how does that work, Augie, if they want to, they can get a special permit off their license, is that correct?
My understanding is that the liquor lease is not, the way it's adopted, it's not specific
I'm sorry.
to Bloomfield Barn, but that's their intent, to use it up there. They could lease another place
So they
in
could
town.
find a second venue and they wouldn't have to get a second lease license?
I know that the state of Illinois is gonna have more to say about it than us.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I think what they have to get is if they have a place, then they have to follow the state rules on that, okay? Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So I thought, Jill, the reason I said specific was because Jill said that they had a lease, so I don't know.
Yeah, she has one ready to go,
Right, once we pass.
but but we're not passing it for Jill. And
No, Jill has nothing to do with
Right,
this.
just so
lease.
we're all clear, just so we're all clear.
Motion to approve.
I will.
Phil moves, Russ seconds. Any further? Roll call, please.
Luddington,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Ellis,
Yes.
Lawton.
Yes.
That is approved. Let me go get Andy and tell Josh something. Josh, would you check your email?
I really apologize for making you all wait.
No, we've got nothing going on.
No, we appreciate the time that you guys have all given us.
Yes, means more.
No.
Chasing horses.
It's a 9 o'clock meeting.
I've been at a 911 meeting since 8,
Oh, okay.
just got out.
Life excuse.
That's
reason.
Yeah, I think so too.
Next item on the agenda is, I'm sorry. Oh, absolutely, but you're welcome to pay also. I mean, either way. If you need a bookie, you
We'll
book.
let you guys do your business and run
Thank
on
you
as
all
you are.
very
We
much.
appreciate, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, HRC, we talked about 85,808 for this coming year and 23,000 for the following year, 22. So we said we'd put that on the agenda so that, not wait, so that they could use our approval to see if they couldn't go down, I guess, to Clark County and see if they can't use that to leverage what they're doing down there. So I put it on the agenda since we had these other items. We pretty much talked about it. Carl, we approved the liquor, let's see, revised liquor policy, and we approved the 2 liquor licenses.
Who are those people?
They were the folks from Grandview.
Okay.
Yep.
Hammond's, Cashman Hammond.
Right, so. Any questions about the HRC proposal? Motion to approve? Andy moves. Have a second?
I will.
And Phil seconds. Further discussion? Augie, would you call the roll, please?
Certainly. Luddington,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Bruner,
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes.
Farnham,
Yes.
Lawton.
Yes. Next, thank you, it does carry. Next, we're talking about the 2 boilers. Did you want to tell them, I think it's actually less than 24.
It is, what's that, 22.8?
Eight.
I'm sorry, Augie, I gave that to you. 22.8?
Yeah, it's 22.8.
22.8 for the 2 boilers. Now, there will be a separate expense, Gore Plumbing for putting in a water softener. But I want the water softener put in at the same time so we don't have some of the problems. But anyway, so it'll probably be another $1,000,
So we just leave it at 24, not to exceed 24.
Okay.
Any questions? Motion to approve? Okay. Did you want to do that, Dan?
I
And
approve.
seconded by Russ?
I approve.
Okay. Anything else? Roll call?
Luddington,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Bruner,
Yes.
Ellis,
Yes.
Farnham,
Yes.
Lawton.
Yes.
Okay, that's done. Next is the AEDs. The board basically said go ahead and order them, but I thought we ought to ratify it just to make sure it was in the minutes and at a regular meeting, so we were able to get 18 of them. It's not to exceed 30. That would include one for Don's office. That would give us enough for and they're trained, by the way, there. And then the animal shelter in Esden. So that would, the reason that they ordered 10 for squads is they're gonna wind up with 10 good squad cars. So I did, because I know there were some questions about that, and I did talk to Derek about that, and he did confirm to me that he thought that that would be appropriate, okay? So, motion to approve. Andy moves.
I'll second.
Phil seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It does carry. And we have nothing else to come before the meeting, so motion to adjourn. Andy moves. Russ seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, we got a couple minutes and then we'll start the other meeting, study session.
Ready.
Okay, we're gonna start our study session. Adam, Sam, you wanna go first, please?
Don't really have any updates on my end. Our new truck's been on the road for about 2 weeks now, going strong. Still running that 4th unit about once or twice a week. We're staying pretty busy, so our volume has been pretty consistent the past couple months. We're pushing close to 250 a month between 911's transfers and our community health visits. So we are on an average day, if you take in everything, we're still running average about 10 a day, so staying fairly busy. outside the ambulance on the AED front. All those AEDs are ordered. We should be seeing those hopefully in the next month. But as everyone knows, things are on eternal back order right now. But right now they're putting me 30 to 45 days. We'll see if that holds true. You guys have questions for me?
Okay.
As far as your community health visits or something, came to our families, someone in our family's assistant, and they appreciated it and said they done an excellent job.
Glad to hear.
So it sounds like that's a good thing for the community.
We are getting ready to stand up. I'm in the process of writing policy on paramedics to do in-home vaccinations for the vaccine hesitant folks. So that may be another program that you see out of these guys coming up. There are just some people that are even just too scared to get out of their house with the fear of catching something, and these folks have the opportunity to be in their homes as trusted individuals. So as soon as that gets approved, we did receive some grant funding for vaccine hesitancy and use of the paramedics to go in home to do that.
So this, the MIH right now is really just like a beta test. I mean, we're going to continue it, but the program's only going to get bigger, so you'll be seeing a lot more out of what this program can offer.
Anything else? Okay, thank you guys. Let's see, you do know that the coroner is moving on Wednesday. Okay? Okay. All right, we have several gentlemen from Hume that wish to talk to us about derelict buildings. Troy, did you want to?
Yeah, I appreciate it. I've got to meet most of you, but I don't know all of you. But my name's Troy Eads. I'm up there in Hume. I'm a police officer up there. And I wanted to introduce to you guys my brother. This is Mike Eads. He's the mayor, and then John Land's on the town board. And last month they had a meeting. We've had this building that sits on the front street in Hume, and it's an old bank. And it's sold several times for taxes, and people from Champaign have bought it. They think they're going to get them a good antique find, and then they don't do anything with it, but lots of trash there. Becomes a public nuisance, and it's a safety issue. And by the Illinois statutes, really the fire chief has the most authority to condemn buildings and to go after people. And being that we have volunteer fire department, we really don't have the resources to do that. But one of the things that last month at the meeting they discussed was purchasing this. This building is coming up for a sale at the sheriff's sale for the taxes. And we were, the board has to vote to approve that, you know, obviously in advance for any purchases or any expenditures. And I was thinking that it's kind of crazy that we do have a county board. We do have a county board that cares about all the communities in the county, I would hope. And these derelict buildings are an issue and have been an issue in a lot of these small towns. However, the funding for that stuff, whether it's through the county or us, is people, we don't have a lot of the funding for demolition of that building. The costs are pretty high. But we were hoping that maybe we could partner up with the county and the county officials to work on improving our community, improving our county, and maybe splitting some of that cost or having some type of goodwill donation from the county. But like the first step would be the property and receiving the property, that we have to go to an auction and maybe bid against somebody that does not have interest in this county. And I will assure you the last two owners have zero interest in this county. They weren't residents of this county, nor have they ever been. So to try to prevent this from continuing to be an issue that like it has been the last 10 or 15 years, we would ask that I think the city or the village has intentions of purchasing this at this sheriff's auction for back taxes, which is in the tune of like $856 or $819. But for the county maybe to call. I know you guys use a company out of Southern Illinois to sell those properties, but maybe just to have a donation of $1 for that deed. I don't know if the county is really hard up for that 800 for back taxes that haven't been paid. And also, we received some bids to tear it down, Bell and Bell, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. It's within this county, and I think he's brought to us. I think we had a similar issue in Chrisman years ago, and you know, it is a risk. It's a risk to the county, it's a risk to the village, it's a risk to everybody. But I think there was a similar issue in Chrisman years ago, and I think the county worked very well with the city of Chrisman to try to demo those buildings, and we would just ask for the same in Village again. But Mike, if you want to present those, I mean, if you guys would like to see that or whatever, but, and do you have anything else for that, Mike?
Okay, thanks. No, I just like to add what Troy's saying is right. The last 3 owners that bought that property for taxes, they gutted all the utilities, the copper, the wire, everything, and they literally dumped trash in it. I boarded it up last time. The pictures are on the website stuff for the boards I did. I boarded it up. It's been falling down. I realize the county's got other issues besides, you know, derelict buildings, but
There's the building.
we don't have that many. We have 2, honestly, buildings in town that really need tore down. This one's the worst one. We try to keep the town clean. We try to do things ourselves. We don't come to the county board to ask for things much. We stay to ourselves. You know, we like to do that. I realize, like I said, you guys got other issues. But if we could get some help, at least get the building and some help tear it down, you know, we don't ask for much, and I understand either way you guys decide, but, you know, for $800, I got approval to buy it, but up to a certain amount, and I'd hate to get there and somebody buys it, so I don't wanna lose it again.
Actually, I was gonna buy it and then donate it to the city, but I figured as soon as I bought it, that they would go after me to make me tear it down, so.
I was actually gonna buy it too, I mean, but same issues. We're just, you know, I just thought we'd come and ask, reach out to you guys. I know that mess in Chrisman years ago, you're probably real familiar with it, aren't you, Jeff? You know, well, years ago it was really a mess, and, you know, they got cleaned up and taken care of, and like I said, we don't ask for much, and
It's right across from our village hall too,
Yeah.
so it's a war memorial, and we'd like to maybe clean it up and you know, make it something for the city or the village. It's on our front street.
we just appreciate, you know, the consideration on it.
I have found out that they will, if the county board asks them to, they'll remove it from the bid. And then we'd have to come up with they want the 819 because they fronted the money.
Okay, so they want, it's not the county.
It's not the county, yeah.
Okay.
They've already, our arrangement, but they will freeze it and you would not have to compete with anybody to get it. All we gotta do, but I can't do that by myself. I'm
Sure.
gonna have everybody else go. Yeah, that's a good idea, but just so you'll know. And I do have the contact information and the person you need to talk to and all that too. Because they wanna talk to you to make sure that this is a legit deal, okay? So, as far as the rest of it, we need to, thank you. Yeah.
Well, I vaguely remember something about Chrisman with the derelict buildings, but what did the county, what did we do or did we do?
I don't remember what we did. I know they just took down a big building. I'm unaware. I wrote grants for the city, not as county board chairman, but just as a citizen, because I used to write grants, trying to get them money from there's a real estate fund that every time a house sells in Illinois, it dumps some money in, and then you can get money. But it's highly competitive. It goes to more metro areas, so I know Paris has tried to get it. I mean, we just don't have the horses here to get those funds, okay? I don't know what they did, maybe you know.
I don't know the exact specifics, so I don't want to say, but I know they helped them with a building, and I can look back and find the exact specifics.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
either. They talked to me, last week, and I got some information, called the tax office and found out what we could or couldn't do and all that stuff, so. It's up to you folks
I'd
to.
ask the people, they maybe take up donations, have you tried that? And then we can make up the difference, that possibility.
I think anything's possible, sir. I mean, we can do fundraiser, do anything, but I mean, it's definitely in the best interest of the village, and for risk mitigation. And I think what happened, and if I recall in Chrisman, and it doesn't really matter in the past, but I believe a building fell down that was under a tax sale, that basically nobody, and with that happening, and it was like, it became a nuisance. And then there was questions about the liability of risk, who's responsible? Ultimately, the city's gonna get sued, then maybe the county if they own the deed for the taxes. And then, it's gonna trickle down from there. And it's really, I mean, bricks fall off on the sidewalk. We tried to block off the sidewalk. The kids go up there, throw stuff in, try to get in there. We boarded up, like Mike said, he took his time to board it up and to keep people from out of there. But now it's just turned into a kind of a hazard and a risk and an eyesore and a public nuisance, animals, stuff like that.
And to go back to your comment about the donations, that's a good idea. The problem I see is, once we purchase it, then it is our responsibility, and I don't want it standing any longer than it has to stay, that's the reason why we haven't, been after it before. And like I said, we got, just the first one is Bell and Bell, the first bid. We haven't got anybody else's. I just want to have an idea, rough idea about, what it was, because they're pretty good to work with, I know.
Joe
Mm-hmm.
Rasmus.
Right, Joe's a friend of mine, so.
Yeah, well, there's guys around
Right,
that will do it.
exactly. So I just wanted to get a bid that was
Sure,
just for an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nothing set in stone. We're just coming to see, what we could possibly get, considered.
I'm not sure well, first of all, we can't officially do
Sure,
anything today.
understand.
We can't turn you down, we can't give you the third, or anything
Sure,
in between.
sure.
Because it has to be on the agenda.
Sure.
I think we need to think about it. At least our next meeting is on, the 12th or 13th of October.
That thing's gotta be turned in by the
Yeah.
8th.
Yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
have to almost commit
Right.
to the building, if nothing else. I don't know how else to tell you, sorry.
No, I think it's fair. I realize that's what, like you said, an investment company that buys up those, and then they'll want to redeem those probably, right? 18% or whatever it is, whatever their costs are, but.
Yeah, our hands are they will, as a courtesy, pull it off so you don't have to compete again and have this spiraling out.
That's what's tough at the village board, is to get approval to spend money, because if somebody else is there, you don't know how much they're willing to
This
bid
gives
on
you a
it.
finite, this is it.
Thank you.
But from
Appreciate
that though, from the county, because you have more resources, what would you suggest for holding people accountable for that? Is there resources within the county that we could use in a small village to go after people? If somebody, like, for instance, what's been happening in Champaign, people from Champaign buy it and then don't pay taxes on it. You look at that tax history I sent you, Jeff, you can see that they haven't been paid in several years. But I didn't know if the county had any type of resources or suggestions where we could use to go after those people, because it is a building within the county. In other words, whether it be the fire, by legislation, if it's the fire chief, or we have to go through Village of Hume's fire chief, or is there any type of
We could ask
entity of the county, maybe the county highway, that oversees buildings that are back on taxes or derelict buildings? And
We've run into this before.
Yeah.
And it's not, we probably need to figure out something to do, because it's not
And
a
every
good question.
community
Right.
has its
There's
issue.
at least one or two of these in there.
These guys seem to know each other too, because they seem to use the same post office
Yeah,
box
same PO box.
at the post office. How do you run it for 3 or 4 years till you tax it, and you sell it to your buddy, and start all over?
The city of, just to give you a little heads up, we're lucky on one issue in Crispin, that we had a guy that bought a building for $1 and said he was gonna fix it. It started falling down.
We got that too.
But what happened, unfortunately, he passed away, but Mark Wyatt bought the building. And, he went in there and he renovated that. Hell, it looks like a new building. I mean, that's
Call
very
everybody, know there's
rare.
one in him.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Get Mark's
very
phone
rare
number.
that we have that happen.
Right,
But
right.
most of the time, and we just, I know the village board just took it down that old, huge building, house, and Rasmus did that one, and you never, it's beautiful.
Yeah, he does good work.
Yeah, so, at any rate, we've been kind of fortunate, but we gotta think all the communities have issues.
Right.
No, we've had two. We've got the one on Lower T, and then we had the one on Wood Street with the tree on top, sat there for how many years? Go by one.
That was an
taxes
issue
on
of
it.
taxes, the one
Right.
with trash out on the right of way,
Right,
that wasn't a tax deal though.
right.
Right, so we were limited in what we could do there, but since they put trash out of the right of way, then it became our issue, so. Anybody have any thoughts?
I mean, once those taxes and it goes up for sale, who's the owner of it? Is it that JREMC or whatever that is, or is it
They're,
the county, or who is I guess, the holder of that property? And who would be responsible if that thing was to fall down right now and kill somebody? That'd be my question.
I don't know how that works.
That's where the
I
state's
suggested
attorney
why
needs
we
to come
need
in.
to
Yeah.
talk to the states, and I think we may have had those answers 4 or 5 years ago,
Right.
but that stuff gets lost in the mist of time.
But I think, we appreciate all you guys, consideration of this, and we know you have a lot more business to take care of, so we won't take
No,
any more.
at least we can freeze what happens.
Yes.
Okay, and then we'll take a look, will
See
you
what, yeah, what we
contact
can
us?
do.
It's- I'm gonna be gone for about 12, 13 days, so.
Another vacation.
You're out of order, Phil. So at any rate, would you
Okay.
kinda
Okay,
relate to, appreciate
see
it.
what we can do.
Well, we appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean,
And gal.
Thank you. Thank you for,
Thanks.
Yep.
Y'all have a great day.
thank you.
Yeah.
Are there anything, okay, let's talk about the budget and the levy, if you would. The levy is noted, if you go to the back page, which basically is a synopsis of the total that says 783 is not correct. That's gonna go up a little bit. And we had to bump Social Security up 30 grand, and county board, or mental health board went up 5 grand from what those figures are. You don't add that, they're
not.
already changed
Okay.
in yours. So that total will grow by 35 grand. So it'll be 3.8, whatever. Okay. Anyway, so you need to take a look at this, and then we'll discuss the next couple of study sessions and the county board meeting. And if we need to have a special meeting to talk about budget, we can. You might notice that the general fund, we knocked another 25,000 off of it. There was no change in the retirement fund, highway, CA, TV didn't change, mental health went up, you can see, a little bit, yes.
But what, do you know what percent that went up?
You mean the whole thing?
No, the mental health.
I'd have to figure it, hang on.
They requested a.
They
increase.
requested it, which, that's not even close to what their max levy is.
That's what I was wondering,
Yeah, it does.
how close.
No, it's max levy, I'd have to, let's see. Hang on, I can tell you in a minute. They can go up to 15 cents, so.
And they're at 13 currently.
Are they? I
Well,
mean, you gotta multiply the equalized assessed value.
okay.
387 times. they could go up to 580,000. Okay?
So are any of these at the max available levy?
Highway's close, those would be the only one, and there's no max on tort, social security, or county retirement. Okay?
What happens to the tort community fund if we don't use any of it? I mean, how does that, we don't use any of it for next year, $450,000. So does that,
No, we'll use almost every penny of that.
okay, that's one.
Yeah, we're not stockpiling money on those three
Okay, I
funds.
just wondered how that works.
But remember, we have to have enough we don't collect money next year until 7 months after the year starts. So we have to have enough money to carry over to pay our bills for the first 7 months of the year till we start getting tax money, okay? Which is July. So for example, let's just say tort fund. We're gonna have a bill of $320,000 that's gonna be due December 1st. But we don't collect any tax money on it until July. So we have enough money roughly to do that and pay unemployment and what's when you get hurt at work?
Work comp.
Work comp. Work comp. So we have to have enough money to make those payments between December 1st and July, the middle of July, okay? So we do have to carry some surplus, but only enough to pay our bills, okay? The reason we got caught up in Social Security and we have to bump that a lot was because we had a big surplus. We could have raised taxes last year, but instead we used up some of our surplus so that we didn't get into a situation. We had almost double what we needed.
Okay, that's a good explanation. So I was wondering why it was up so much, but basically, we split it between 2 years almost,
Right.
essentially.
In other words, we probably should have raised it 40 grand or
Okay.
more, maybe up to 80, because but we had that much extra that we should really use,
Okay.
okay? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But take a look, yes, Carl?
That was 588,000 for the mental health.
Yeah, they could
Max.
collect, hang on,
Okay.
I think I still got it here, Carl. $580,500.
580, okay.
$580,500. And I let them know what their max could be,
Right.
but they'd have the truth in taxation. If you exceed your budgets by 5%, I think this is gonna be 3.3% increase over last year on all of the levies, okay? More than we want, but I think we were all committed, and I think I'm reflecting what you guys believe, is that we should back off of our general fund a little bit to give some tax relief there. Anything that we can do cautiously, because we don't want to leave ourselves short either. So.
Well, the reason I brought it up, because, we're giving over the next 2 years over 100,000 out of the CARES
Sure.
money for them, and I just thought, if they need to expand their services, maybe they could bump.
The levy up.
Well, and eventually, they may be able to support some of us seed money
Right.
that we do.
Right.
Right, because they're gonna be what, 60 grand short roughly?
Right.
And I'm usually conservative.
Mhm.
They may be able to get more money than that off of their tax levy, but, okay? Then the actual budget, Don just finished that. He was gonna try to get it to me this weekend so I could review, but he had some issues that he had to take care of, so he finished it this morning. So I really haven't had much chance to look at it, other than to look at the last page and see that basically there's a $68,000 available income versus expenditures. So we'll take a look at that. I also called the sheriff to see if we could get a sheriff's committee meeting so that we could review his budget. He is at a conference this week and will not be available till next week. However, I'm not available next week, but that doesn't mean that you guys can't review that with him. But I understand from Derek that basically he looked at the automobile budget, food, and applied the contract increases to the budget, and that's basically all he did. So, but I still think we should sit down with the sheriff's committee and review it, okay? So I apologize, but I just haven't had a chance to look. I did the part where income, I did the judicial budget with the judges, and Mark and I, well, of course you guys we all know what we were trying to do there. All of those increases in this budget reflect a part-time moving to full-time assistant state's attorney, and anything extra clerical help in the office. It also reflects us going to a public defender full-time in this county, and his clerical help, rent, etc., plus extra help that they need when there's conflict of interest for a number of public defenders needed. For example, is there a family of 3 and there's an issue, then you have to have 3 different attorneys, unfortunately, but that's the way it works. So at any rate, it reflects all of that, and still paying 72 instead of 36,000 on the courthouse deal, and all the other projects that we've got going and reflected in there.
So the 564,000.
All right, I got you.
Okay, so that was an actual net.
Yep.
So it is where in the FY 2021 year-to-date?
It may not be folded in. Oh, I'm sorry.
This is-
That one made up for the $650,000 deficit that we were running. Sorry.
You said that you were,
And then this year, even though it's showing 244 negative, that doesn't include all of the income that we've got yet. I
Right.
figure that'll turn positive by December or January when we finish the accruals. So we won't have any negatives on this page.
congratulations to you and Carl.
To the board. Okay?
All of your years of dealing with negatives.
At any rate, we need, go ahead, Carl.
Page 7, which is state's attorney.
Okay.
Assistant state's attorney, there's no increase. $45 this year.
Oh, I got it wrong. I'm sorry.
And $45 for next year.
Okay, the state's attorney, and Don may not have caught this, the state's attorney had 2 line items. And the state's attorney gave me a budget, and I may not have it with me, of more than that. I think it's 65 or 70 is what it's supposed to be.
Right.
Okay? Like I said, I haven't had a chance to review it. And the one that Mark turned in was a little confusing. For example, on clerical, that's gonna go up too. The deputies, we're gonna eliminate part-time. And that money is gonna go up into the deputies and increase to have 2 full-time. So this is incorrect,
Yeah.
okay? Like I said, I haven't had a chance to
Now,
review it.
public defender,
That would be after
page
sheriff.
11.
Yeah. Let's see, public defender, yep.
I guess, it doesn't have the figures for current year or 20,
Yeah, I have no idea why.
that's pretty confusing.
Yep, I see that. But the budget looks
Yeah.
fairly,
Yeah, but
fairly
it's
correct.
a $50,000 increase roughly.
Right. And I did talk to real estate people to see what,
Right,
figuring the worst,
right,
and they thought it was God's plenty.
yeah.
Okay? So I'm not sure what's possible there. And they did make, by the way, the judge last Friday, Thursday or Friday, wrote a letter to the current one and gave them 7 days, period, to let us know what, to let us know. And that would be starting no later than February 1st. Okay, which would give us a quarter to get everything in line.
Right.
Okay? Yeah, thank you for noting those. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to look at them yet. I'm sure there's other issues too, but we'll figure it out. I just wanted, we just needed to get the budget to us in September, because we've only got really a month to agree on everything. I know a lot of it's kind of mundane, but there are some key things that we need to look at in there. All right. So we'll try to get something set up with the sheriff, because the building committee is gonna have to start taking more active role in everything from what we're doing for the coroner to some of the issues. We have selected, or Coles County did select Klingner and HNN. It was very close. I mean, there was some, the two other firms were very good, but Coles County Regional Planning selected Klingner to move forward. For the building committee, Klingner is also gonna start submitting very shortly the final initial courthouse look, plus they're gonna send you, just like we got from that other firm, or what they need to move forward, because the building committee talked about that, moving forward on the elevator and the roof, okay? So, and we met, and I guess,
We met with Michael,
right,
and then he was gonna meet with Core, and I think that's where our figures are gonna be coming from.
right, a lot of them,
A collaboration between the two of them,
right.
so.
Things are moving.
But he had some really good, I was glad I got to go up there and meet with him. 'cause
Yeah, I am too. You guys,
they had some really
you
good
and
ideas.
Russ and Carl really need to, start working closely. The next step with Michael is they need to go negotiate, Coles County will negotiate the final fee that they're gonna charge them through the grant. That's the next thing, and then you guys will need to look at what they come up with to move forward and get us in a position where we know what we're doing down at the courthouse, okay? He did stop, I suggest we go for a road trip, but we go over to Pittsfield, I think that's the correct thing, and take a look at that courthouse. I think that would be helpful to go over there and take a look. He sent some pictures, but he said they did some stuff totally different than we did at some point 50 years ago or whatever. So, for example, the first floor, they don't have an elevator down the center. And on the first floor, you know where the hole would be?
It's floor.
It's floor, but it's special, okay? So, there's a lot of different things.
So
And I don't.
Michael went to Pike County.
Yeah, he did, yes. He wanted to see, he got an idea of what kind of woodwork and hand railings and all that. I said, we still need to look at, I said, we got a couple of fairly frugal folks on the board, in fact, we all are. We need to make sure that we don't, maybe we should cut out the center and make it bigger so we can keep the elevator where it is and hold down costs. Or do we, I'm not saying we wanna do that, I'm just saying, we just need to know what all the opportunities are that we have. Because do we want better use of offices there, or do we wanna spend it on scroll work? We don't want the building looking like crud,
Right.
but we also want to make sure you know, we've all gotten into this and found out that it just doesn't take a new jail. It's gonna take mental health, drug abuse programs, and courthouse working right, and judicial system working, I mean, it is a big puzzle that we need to put together to make sure we're firing on all cylinders. If I'm misspeaking, please, somebody else say what they're thinking. Okay, right. We talked too much. Andy, anything on your committee?
Nothing much more than what you basically said. We got, the boiler at the jail is moving right along.
Did they think they could get it done by cold weather?
Well, yeah, well, when I initially asked him, he said, yeah, they said they got boilers, 2 or 3 weeks. Well, I said it was like 4 to 6 now. But I asked him how confident he was that it was gonna be 4 to 6. I mean, if you put 6 weeks, we're in October.
Supposed to get down to the low 40s this week, a couple
I know.
nights.
So I'll check with him today and see if he has a better idea.
Well, the other one, the current one won't work at all. Okay,
It's unhooked now.
okay.
And it wasn't, you couldn't turn it on, it leaked pretty bad. When Jeff went down there and found a leak, and there was inches of water on the floor down there.
Really?
Yeah. So it wasn't hook-upable, so they have been working on it a little bit to get the old one out and get things where when it comes in, they can hook it up pretty quick.
You don't talk to him about what we're trying to figure out for the coroner.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they know, because I can't remember, I don't know what I had for lunch yesterday, so I don't know.
Yeah, over.
I mean, at this point, we've got an office for the coroner here that he can utilize. We've got storage for the stuff that's in he's still able to use, and the hospital said they don't have a problem with him using the place where his van is kept and the cold storage unit, that bay in the garage. That's basically storage. They don't have a problem with him using that.
Till next spring.
Till next spring.
At least, and when I talked to Ollie to let him know that he was gonna be out Wednesday, he said that could be another year past it. I mean, but he
I
wanted to be.
anticipate having that situation taken care of by this spring, right? At least middle to late spring. Because we're looking at building a separate coroner's unit out here, standalone building. And did Jimmy Moorcroft gonna come in here?
No, we're gonna meet with him.
We're gonna meet with him. Okay, I thought Jimmy was coming in. But he's gonna, of course, Jimmy built houses for years, and he thinks we can build a place pretty reasonable.
He's gonna head up the project, and we're gonna pay him out of the general fund, so it will not be a highway project, okay? And he's already got drawn out some plans, so starting for the building committee, and you'll have to figure out when you and Jimmy and the building committee can get together to take a look at it.
Okay.
There was a rough drawing that Scott gave him, so he's worked off of that. I've talked to, and I know you probably will, is Dirk and Jimmy Simpson, and they're willing to do some winter work on it to finish it up. So one of the main first things we need to do is get the building laid out and then get the foundation done. And then we've got in-house workers that will take care of the rest of it and make a good winter project.
So the plan is probably about straight east of here, right out here by these fuel tanks.
It's actually marked out. If you
Yeah.
want to walk just to the south of
Just
the
right.
building.
Just across the driveway right here.
Right. It's a little bigger than what it'll be, but they've marked it off, okay? And you got behind it to the east, about 50 feet or less, you got your sewer. Electricity is about 5 or 6 feet from the building, and then water is just down on the other end, and water's more the least problematic issue that they have.
Drains are the big ones.
Yeah, the drains are right there. So it's not a no muss, no fuss, but, you know, it makes sense worth talking about. Okay, and then
That way we'll have our own facility, we won't have to worry about.
that again. And up until this point, we really didn't have that need, but we do now. And I think it's a good
Yeah. Well,
Make
and
this
then
a-
none of us realized what
county campus.
we had to have or didn't have over the
Right.
years. We weren't around, none of us were around for other boards, so
And I,
we're making a correction.
yeah.
Are there any questions about the building committee? Will be pretty much doing the overseeing with Jimmy Moorcraft, okay? And they're planning to do the best they can as quickly as they can and get everything squared away, and we've got a temporary solution to the issue.
Be a metal building or?
Now
You'll
we're
have-
stick building, but we're gonna build it, they're not gonna use it,
Oh,
building.
yeah.
Jimmy thought it'd be, and it'd be a better, because you build a metal building, then you gotta do a lot of stuff to make a metal building work like a regular building, because you might as well just build the thing.
And don't forget that if this, the board needs to decide, but if this is a permanent facility, it'll be about 1,000 or 864 square feet less than we have to have, or we can use for other things when and if we build a jail or whatever we do, okay? I mean, that's up to us, or the board then, whether you want to give them a new facility after that. But I would think if we have a good one out here, it would be good.
I think that'd be fun. Built like you wanted it, so. Okay.
Danny?
Oh, nothing.
Russ? Carl?
Had a 911 meeting this morning, and we talked about, combined dispatch, with the city. We talked all kinds of different things. We've got to do a lot of fact-finding information so we have facts to make a decision. We discussed the square footage that might be needed in the new jail facility. And I know I told you before that 850 square feet is what they've got planned. And that's,
They can have the corner space.
yeah. So, roughly the current jail dispatch and all that is around 1,500 square feet. But at this point, they are asking to have 2,500 square feet in the new facility, which probably is more than adequate.
Are you gonna have an office in there, Carl?
So that's what their request is, to pass on to the architects.
Well, the architects will come to them too.
Yeah, 2,500, which, that's a figure. But they said, when do we need it? And I said, well, either by the end of September or sometime in October, 2,500. And between now and the next meeting, we're gonna gather a bunch of information
Calls
on
and what's done.
go from there. So that's where we're at on that. I wanted to bring up about holidays. We talked about that last time. I know in Augie, his proposal for the 2022 holidays included 15 holidays, which I expressed that I thought that was too much. I talked to 10 different people in the last week or so since that meeting, and I have a range from 3 holidays to 13 holidays on the 10 different people I talked to. Most of them were in the 6 to 10 range is the holidays they get. Mr. Brenner, you asked me approximately what that would cost to add, because we currently have 13 holidays, and to go to 15. And for most, the employees in the courthouse, you know, they just get an additional day off. There's no extra costs involved. Out here at County Highway, additional day off, no different costs. But the sheriff's department is a totally different animal. And because if they take those 2 days off, we have to fill their shift at overtime rate. And I did a approximate cost, and it's, for the 2 days is around $12,000. Is what the cost would be
Per day or
total.
total?
So it's $6,000 per day.
What about 911 or dispatch?
Well,
Does
it's
it make any
not-
difference
not-
there?
Well, there's 22 union employees in the jail, and they're not 911, they're sheriff's employees. The dispatchers are sheriff employees, they're
Okay,
not.
so they're already included.
So they're
That's
included.
included in that 6,000 a day, correct?
Yes,
The
right.
dispatchers.
You got dispatchers, deputies, and correction officers. So that would be if we gave those 2 additional days, it would be
Well, 2 days or you think about taking out or not giving. One would be the one new one that they.
well, the 2 that were added, that
Yeah.
Augie added was Juneteenth
All right.
and the general election day, and I think the governor, did the governor make them official Illinois holidays or something?
Yeah, so just so we know,
Right,
I just
Yes.
I just passed that on.
Right.
So yes, the
Yeah.
Juneteenth and the election day is a holiday.
but on the calendar that the circuit court, or the court system put out, it included only 14 days, not 15. They've got Juneteenth in there, they've got election day, but the one day that they don't have, that we have on our proposed calendar, is Good Friday. So,
So the governor says you have to, it makes the, do we have to give those days?
no, he's just for the state employees and the court, I keep saying circuit court, but the court system. Those are the Supreme Court, I guess, does it actually.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that the court systems observe. We don't have to do, we could take it down to nothing, I mean, I guess, in a way. But now, of course, the union,
Yeah.
with their contract, they get 13.
Mhm.
And then if we give any additional days to the other county employees, they get those additional days. I mean, obviously, counties and states, they seem like, everybody says, you get all kinds of holidays, well, you do, but the average person, they don't get those.
Yeah.
Majority of the public, they don't, talking to the people, 6 to 10 was kind of the range that I got. You look at restaurant people, most of them, whether maybe New Year's Day, Christmas, and Thanksgiving, that's all they get.
Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, so, I just wanted
I
to
do with it.
put that out, so you guys can think about it and decide whatever you want to do, but I just want to leave it where it's at. I think that's plenty of holidays, and there's costs involved to the county.
Any questions? Bill?
Nope.
Lisa?
The only place I have worked that had a lot of holidays was U of I Extension. And yes, there is that same, I hear that perception too, government workers another day off.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at these and I'm not trying to change the way that you've done business, but, Lincoln's birthday and Washington's birthday, seems to me almost everybody does a President's Day and they celebrate them all together. You have Monday for Martin Luther King's birthday, and then you've got Juneteenth, and it just keeps adding up. lots of days that deserve acknowledgement, but do they all deserve a vacation day?
That's interesting.
It's gonna be, remember conversely, we have in the contract certain holidays. And conversely, just in case, I think it would be incorrect to take anything, even though we may not agree with everything. We can't take them away from the regular folks and still let the unions have them though. I mean, you gotta, we've been working very hard over the last 10 years to get it where the treatment is, we have some parity. And I don't think we wanna back off of anything. That's my opinion. I'm only one of 7. Well, it'll be on the agenda at the next meeting. And we do need to
Decide that.
address that,
Okay.
okay? So,
Do we have a list of what the 13 holidays are that's in the union contract? It's everything except for Juneteenth and the general election day?
yes, it would be the same.
Well, I've got a copy of it here. It's New Year's Day, Lincoln's birthday, Washington's birthday, Easter Sunday, which is different than, theirs is Easter Sunday, but we use Good Friday for the other county employees, or for official county holiday. July 4th, Labor Day, Columbus Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day, day after Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day. So it's a little different, the Christmas Eve, and Easter Sunday versus Good Friday, so there's some difference. I can make copies. I've got that. I've got the current holidays. I've got a copy of what the Supreme Court is putting out for next year, and then what Augie gave us. So I'll get all these copies and before everybody leaves here today, I'll give all this to you so you can look at it.
Do you have anything else to report on? I mean, Lisa.
We attended the HRC 708 board meeting. As a group, we convey our appreciation to county board for the decision to increase funding to HRC that we voted on. Then I attended the HRC and Horizon Health open house. I was there after the ribbon cutting. The picture in the paper shows that the ribbon cutting was very well attended. HRC staff were at their desks and showing people around, and they are very passionate and professional. And of course, I had already been to the Horizon Health side. I was visiting with one of the Horizon Health nurses that works out there, and because he and I used to work very carefully on health insurance, because Horizon Health can only see the traditional Medicare folks, because that's how the building, that's how their services are funded, the overhead. And so that's something that I do want to take up in more conversation with Jonathan, is because I know the hospital refers those with Medicare Advantage to HRC, but HRC at this time doesn't offer the parallel services. So I think that's something that Jonathan and I need to talk about, partly to see if there's a way to provide similar services, because what Horizon Health offers is very good and very helpful, and it would also be, could be quite lucrative.
Sorry.
So that's what I have.
Yes, Carl?
Are you done? I wanted to mention that last week or the week before, after our county board meeting, Lisa and Russ and myself went and did a tour of the jail, because they, being new board members, they'd never been there before. And do you guys have any comments on what you observed or heard? Just anything?
Third floor?
We didn't.
We didn't.
Let's go up there, but we did see the basement.
Yeah.
The dungeon?
Yeah.
I think it's a study in architecture. And it's pretty cool. Who cleans it?
We don't have any, just the people that work there.
Because that was one thing I thought about afterwards, is it's clean.
Yeah.
It is pretty impressively clean, and it can't be easy, because that's that.
They're not clean.
Hmm?
They're not nothing.
Well,
It
yeah, that
got
too.
pretty bad.
It was.
Yeah.
So,
I will have to commend Jay. You know, I know what it looked like after we kind of renovated it. I mean, it looked nice.
mhm,
It still looks
that's
nice.
pretty
You
good.
know, what was that, over a year ago, you know? Because I just know how things can work, and if you don't stay on top of it, things can go downhill pretty fast, and it just looked like day one. So I commend him and his staff to keeping it in good shape.
That's
Yeah,
good.
even the closets are clean.
Yeah.
There's
was
so many
afraid- I was
rooms
afraid
and
when
nooks
you-
and crannies.
Yeah.
I
But
was
yeah,
afraid when you
there's
asked
no
that.
janitors.
No, I
That
was
It was gonna be a
impressed.
different story, and I thought.
Now, occasionally our janitor from the courthouse, he goes over there and helps him with a couple of things,
Yeah.
but he doesn't clean.
No.
Yeah. Well, you know, the old buildings are just hard.
Yes,
They're hard
they
to
are.
keep clean, and that one is more so, I would think.
To show Lisa where the tunnel was,
Yeah.
used to come through, right
Yeah.
through that,
Yeah.
through that
We
tunnel.
got a really good tour of the basement, but no, we did not go up.
There's,
I don't remember what my comment about up there, but we didn't go up there. We,
No,
it
not that
was like a
one.
hellhole or something up there.
remember the thing that one person go through the
Oh,
tunnel?
well, that's not, the tunnel?
No, upstairs, third.
Or,
third
no,
floor.
on the main floor, the pie door.
Mhm,
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's not there anymore.
Okay. Remember that.
Yeah. But Russ, any comment?
I have no comment.
Yeah. It doesn't look all that bad, really.
Good.
You know, you read the report from 2 years ago, it was pretty nasty, but, and then I asked Jay, you know, since we opened up, they've been inspected twice. The first time, I think there were just 2 little small violations, and I thought he said this last one
You got 100%.
got it,
Got
yeah.
100%.
Well, remember, the big thing was them not doing the half
Yeah,
hour
and that,
shifts.
so,
It was 92%, I think,
Yeah.
or 94 or something.
right,
And it
but,
has software and tools that have alleviated that problem.
right. So, everything's looking pretty good right now,
That's good.
He's
currently.
doing a good job of running.
Yep.
We'll say that.
And the fact that we didn't have any violations, according to what he said, I haven't seen the report.
Yeah, we need to make sure we get those so we can
Do
send
you-
them off.
Do they, send, when they have a jail inspection,
Generally, we get a copy of it.
can you get a copy to all of us so we can see what it is?
Normally,
When
they
ago
send
was
one
that?
to me.
Well,
and they
I asked
haven't.
Jay about that, and he said, well, they'd sent one to Jeff, you,
I didn't get one.
When would the last one have been done?
well, not too long
It
ago.
wasn't.
No, I did not get a jail.
Well, we
and I
need to-
used to get, I thought maybe they changed the list
Okay,
of who got it.
I'll look into it.
But anyway,
And
that
we-
also needs to go to our insurance
Insurance, yeah.
agency. We
Right.
wanna make sure that they're knowing that we're keeping up with stuff.
Right,
To also, our new our new insurance agent will be here at the next meeting to introduce himself.
JR.
Yeah. He also said that he was gonna start looking at some of the stuff to see. He said they're rating us now, and we should have an idea what our new general liability policy is. And I asked him to take a look at the work comp, because it's gotten pretty high, so he was gonna do that also.
Have we had claims?
No, that's why I don't understand. We've had some claims with some of our deputies, but we've gotten reimbursed, you know,
Right.
because,
Okay.
you know, when somebody hits somebody in a car,
Yeah.
they go ahead and pay the claims until it's adjudicated. And then we've gotten some money from the other folks that have hit our deputies, insurance companies, so I don't know what the deal is.
Sometimes they go on frequency of claims. So whether it's your fault or not, it's whether you made a claim or not.
Yeah, well, we'll have
We'll
to.
find out.
We need to know, not wait till the last minute what's going on. Is there anything else? Oh, how do you guys want to handle the budget? Do you want to just try to do it at study sessions and just plan on being a little longer and bring your questions in? Or do you want to have a special meeting where we have a committee at large, you know, the whole board's the committee and we start, what would you like to do is what I'm asking you.
I think we'll just handle it at the meetings.
If we see that we have a problem after,
We can always have one.
yeah,
special
is that all
meeting.
right?
What
Okay,
does
that's
need to be
fine.
done?
We have to start passing it, what's the date in November we lay it over? Is it the second?
Yeah, it's like the first Wednesday in November we have a
I
meeting.
think the third is when we lay it over for, what, 20 days or something?
Yeah.
And the 24th is when we pass it. I mean, it officially becomes,
So we have 2 study sessions.
we have 2 study sessions and a board meeting.
2 board meetings
2 board meetings. Yeah, we can still,
in November.
yeah, we can still discuss it in November. Board meeting. So we've got 2 of each, we've got 4 meetings. Okay? And if the building committee wants to take a look at a particular part of the sheriff's, still think it's a good idea for us to get together with the sheriffs.
When's our first meeting in November?
The third,
Is it the third?
yeah, well, we've got a study, oh, we have 3 study sessions.
Yeah.
Oh, that's,
We got, the first of
November
November
1st.
is a study session, and the
November.
3rd of November is
First
our
or
first
third?
meeting.
In November, I got a first and third, that right?
Right,
Okay.
perfect.
All right, then that is.
So we have 3 meetings each, or 2 board meetings and 3 study sessions, okay? We ought to be able to come up with something by then. And we got no contracts next year to negotiate, so that won't be till the following year.
That's nice.
So, is there anything else to come before the meeting this morning? Do we need a closed session on anything?
What's the next step for the architects on this whole project?
To come up with Coles County with a set agreement that says how much they're gonna charge them. And the building committee may wanna become involved because we may have to assist in that a little bit if we wanna include more. The Vance School is included and is, you know, part of that, but we may have to include some extra dollars to make sure we get everything done we want done. And the building committee will have to recommend to the board where we're at on that, okay? But at any rate, that's the next step, and then they'll start doing their thing based upon the criteria that Coles County Regional Planning. And then at the same time, Klingner will be working on the courthouse with the building committee, figuring out what direction you guys want to take on that. Okay?
Then I know the other day we discussed about the possibility of maybe look at the possibility of utilizing the current location, you know, possibly, you know, tearing off the old part, you know, depending on how things go. Just look at all of our options as far as taking off the old part, utilizing, you know, the 20 and the 30-year-old part of the jail, you know, instead of demolishing everything. And so,
I'd let him know.
all right.
He's
Is
aware.
that something that we have to do separate from the,
I don't know, we'll have to see.
We'll have to find out
Figure
whether-
out how you're gonna handle it.
how they can handle that?
Right.
Because we talked about that at our meeting.
Either way's fundable.
Yeah,
Okay, I mean, through the Department of Agriculture, or
Right.
USDA.
right.
So,
And
and I
when-
made them aware down there of that possibility also.
But we talked about that when we did our tour the other day, and last week when cleaners were here talking about the other, I brought that up and they said definitely that's something we need to take a look at.
He said he'd
I
think
think
it'd be
that-
irresponsible if you didn't.
Right.
I think that can be part of what we're doing, because that was part of it from the very beginning,
Right.
okay?
Right.
Are we still
Absolutely.
on schedule?
Huh?
Are we still on schedule?
Yes. We're actually, I'm sorry, maybe you were here or weren't, not you, but some of the board members when, the guys from Coles County said we wouldn't even be close to where we were, where we're at right now if we hadn't had clean done earlier. Okay? Probably a couple months. So we're moving right along. Yeah, we are on schedule. And also remember, we don't want to be real fast right now, because building costs, and contract costs, and everything else are not out of control, but, well, yeah, they may be out of control.
They're,
This is not the time to be ready with drawings to start building a building.
I don't think anybody's gonna, costs are leveling a little, but I think it's still so volatile that I don't think you'd get a great
No.
estimate right now. I mean, lumber's gone down, certain other items have gone down a little, certain ones have gone up, but I don't think anybody's gonna say, here's what we'll do it for, without putting a heck of a pad in there.
The other thing is, there's still all this federal money flowing
Right.
from the last deal, the $1 trillion deal, and everybody's got work. I mean, everybody's got work. You know, so they can kind of pick and choose. Even the roof system, we don't want to be out on bids in the spring, any part of that, probably. It'd just be, we just need to get a few more buckets to hang on. Well, I mean, there's a right, that's why Michael was talking about maybe getting Core or somebody else to help us with that discrepancy of 500,000 versus 2.1 million. That's nuts, guys. So we need to have some help with that. And, you know, I said you guys would talk to him about the building committee, but folding that into what he was doing, okay?
I think at this point, we're waiting to hear from Michael and Core.
Right.
Right.
And Core was gonna do excuse me, was gonna do not sure what you call it, they were gonna do a free kind of, do a rough assessment of cost.
Yeah. Somehow like, a lot like what we got up Basin.
Right, but hopefully a whole lot more accurate than that.
Yeah.
And
may
Basin
be.
may be right,
It may
I
be
don't know,
right.
it's just hard to believe that you could do that whole roof for $500,000 and do it right with trim and the metal work. I think it wound up being about 550, but still. Klingner said he thought, you know, we were looking at more like 8 to 9,
That sounds more like what I would.
but I don't know. Did anybody say we need to go into closed session for anything? Are we there? Motion to adjourn? Any moves? You second? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay? That was Russ that seconded, I'm sorry. All right, we're adjourned.